Hi, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of the Generally Speaking podcast from Herkimer County Community College. My name's Robert Gassmann. I'm going to be your host. And with me today is one of my teaching colleagues here at the college, Professor Steve Boucher, who's teaching all things business here at the college. How many programs again?
I think 12 or 13.
12 or 13 discrete programs in the business area.
Correct.
How many business professors do we have in this area now?
Well,
There's a couple, two, three.
Yeah, there's three professors and myself and Dr. Lynn Catato and our fashion teacher, Miss Bowman. But she does it. She's got double duty. She wears two hats now. So, but we expect our faculty and our program to continue to grow.
Oh yeah.
We're providing new product and new opportunities. So, we think that number is going to move up in the near future.
We were chatting a little bit before the interview about what we think the largest of the business majors is.
Yeah, the largest. Well, there's a handful of supply chain management and marketing and what have you, but the business AAS and the business AS, the business administration, is the biggest program. It's kind of a catch-all for people that think they want to go into business, but they're not sure if they want to go in the marketing aspect or human resources or sports management. They kind of say, well, I know I want to be in business, but I'm not quite sure. So it's kind of like what I call the general studies of business. It gives them a little flavor and everything. And it gives them the core courses that they're going to need for either going out and starting a business or for going to the four-year school and continue their education in business.
I imagine a lot of students come into those programs thinking that they might go work for a Fortune 500 company somewhere down the road. But talk about the role of these programs at the college as it relates to small businesses.
Yeah, the small business, that's one of my favorite programs, and I think there's an opportunity for growth in this area in Central New York and Herkimer, and for our college to continue to expand our small business program. I was mentioning earlier that in my prior life, I was in the Yellow Page business when I first started my career, and I was there almost 20 years. And I started out by selling Yellow Page ads to small businesses, businesses that usually range from 0 to 100 employees, or usually 0 to 20 employees, or 1 to 20 employees. And these businesses were really good at doing what they do. People usually learn a craft, whether it's you're a good cook, so you open a restaurant, or you're a good pizza maker, or you like to open a pizzeria, or you're a chiropractor, or dentists, or doctors, or car repair, you name it. People get good at a craft, and then you want to monetize that. They say, I want to do this for a living, and I want to make a living doing this. But what ends up happening is what our small business program can offer them is some training in accounting that, whether QuickBooks or know how to keep track of your cash flow, which is extremely important in business, marketing, how to market your business to get new customers or keep your current ones, human resources, how to do things properly and humanely with your employees and hiring and firing. All those aspects are things that most of these business owners jump into a business because they know what they know, but they don't know how to really run a business. And it's one of the aspects that I think that we help with, and we can continue to help with. There's a huge amount of opportunity out there.
Do you ever talk about the role of small businesses that might be located very locally and the extent to which they serve a local populace with services that are specific to that area? Or are small businesses now able to expand their clientele and into other areas? So what I mean is geographic location as important as it once was?
No, not really. I mean, I tell my students this all the time. That's a great question, Bob. Whether you're trying to find a job with a company or you're trying to create your own company, because of the internet and because of how it's expanded, you really can reach to many, many areas. In our marketing, we talk about the 4 P's of marketing, which is product, what you sell, and price, what your pricing model is, and promotion, how you promote it. But the last thing I tell my students in my marketing class is the place of the distribution has changed terrifically. I mean, to positive. You can now sell your product to anyone in the world, where back in the day, you had to sell it. You had to set up a brick and mortar store in each town you wanted to sell in. But now you can really, through the internet, can sell anywhere. And the other thing comes, the flip side of that is employment opportunities. I tell people, I'm a young man from a little town called Remsen, and I went to Oneonta, to SUNY, to college. And when I got done, I went back to my little town, and my pool of job opportunities was really the greater Utica area, Rome area, Herkimer area, this Central New York area. My friends from New York were able to provide to get opportunities in New York or Long Island had a lot more opportunities. If I wanted those opportunities, I'd have to move there. Now, because of remote working and opportunities, you see there's opportunities for students to go to kind of reach out and get some really different, great opportunities, good jobs.
I think one of the most interesting changes that I've seen over the last 5 years or so, and I'm talking specifically about the pandemic, a pandemic that's now 5 years old almost.
It's like in history books.
Is how people left the office and went home to work, which was born out of necessity at the early stages of the pandemic. And we saw a lot of people stay home.
Right.
And we also saw a movement of people away from cities into smaller towns because real estate values were low. So
Exactly.
do we consider this to be one of the great assets of our area where real estate values are still pretty manageable?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Does that seem like an attractive thing that
Yeah, not everybody at college knows.
exploit?
I'm a licensed real estate agent as
Right.
well, and so is my wife. My wife does it full time. She's fantastic, and she says all the time, this area has always been what we call this hidden gem, the secret. And the barrier was if I work in another town or city, I would love to live here where I vacation or where I play, but I can't because I work in this other city or this other town. Now we see that opportunity merging where people can actually come here and live here, and we see a lot of it because of remote work, and there's so many people that are able to make that work, and it's a great opportunity for people because now they can move somewhere of the small town or smaller schools or be in the mountains or rivers or whatever you like. You have the opportunity to get more of that where before it was just a vacation.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. And if you don't mind a little bit of snow, this
Yeah.
is a really great place to live, as all of us know.
Well, I tell people, it's snow, you have to shovel it, but it's not, if you watch TV, the wildfires and the hurricanes and tornadoes, I'll take the snow.
It's true.
I
We
mean,
don't really get too many of those things.
Yeah, it's really a great place. And so I tell people, so you have to hunker down for a couple of days. Most people enjoy snow days. I mean, I don't like going out and shoveling it myself, but at the end of the day, it's nothing compared to some of the hardships other areas have.
And for the people of the future who are watching this episode, we are recording this during February of 2025, and it's been an exceptionally cold and snowy winter.
Yeah, we're getting our fair share, and so the ski lodges and the snowmobilers are celebrating, and the plow guys are working overtime and looking for a break.
We were talking about real estate a moment ago, and my daughter just bought a house in Whitesboro, and it was something that I think she realized she could do because property values are still reasonable around here.
Yeah, they really are.
With her full-time employment, she's got it all figured out, and she's going to find a way to swing it. And so it's been a really exciting time for her.
Yeah, and I think nationwide, believe it or not, because of the inflation, nationwide, the average home is about $400,000. But in this area, in Central New York, it's $200,000. And then you can get even a little bit better deals if you shop right or look around and wait for the right opportunity.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
So it's good bang for your buck. You get great value, and even like the accessibility, the travel patterns. We don't have the congestion, and so there's some great opportunities. And the other thing that's happening is there's some economic development that's happening up and down the thruway corridor that is going to continue to expand job opportunities.
Right.
I mean, the challenge for this area is going to be, right now the challenge, believe it or not, there's a lack of housing.
Yeah.
There's a shortage.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we're starting to develop industries that are going to bring more people to the area. So hopefully the
I
home
see
builders
warehouses and manufacturing coming back into the Mohawk Valley.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about that. I'm so glad you brought it up because I know that we have cooking up in the works here some new educational programming at the college, which we call micro-credentials here in the college business. And I know that you've been working on one in supply chain management.
Yeah, that's correct.
Could you talk about what a micro-credential is?
So the micro-credential, the simplest way of describing it, though, I would say, it's just a short series of classes that will provide you with some skills to enhance your career and your skills that you have currently to move you along. Wisely, Herkimer College and the State University System of New York are making them stackable these days. Where back in the days you could take some classes and they'd be standalone. They may not marry to anything else. Now the educational system is saying, let's do some micro-credentials and let's let them stack into some other bigger things. So later on, if you want to get a certificate and or then maybe a 2-year degree, those opportunities will be out there. And you won't have wasted any time or energy.
Exactly. And if you're not sure if you want to attend college in the first place, it's an opportunity to come try it out.
Yeah.
And in these really highly targeted areas like supply chain management, which seems like it would be relevant and feeding some of the new industries coming into the valley.
Yeah, it's definitely going to do that. I mean, we were, like myself and the dean of our department, Mr. McDonald, we went over to Tractor Supply during the Christmas break. We chatted with the human resources people over there, and they're very welcoming and ready. That they want to have students or their employees come over and take more classes. So they'll invest in their employees to give them skills to do better, to be better at what they do. And there's an opportunity for everybody there. So, because that industry's definitely growing. I mean, you see supply chain, you see it in the news articles. There's logistics, supply chain, in almost everything we talk about. When there's a shortage of something, you're looking at supply chain issues. It's all around us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw quite a bit of that during the pandemic. And
Yeah.
I think that was cited for some of the reasons why things got expensive and some things were hard to get.
Oh, that definitely was a reason.
So is the supply chain worked out now? Have we recovered from the pandemic and
I-
the
you
global
know,
supply chain?
I think you're better. I mean, what I see, I think we're much better. But I also think because of the, the environment, the political environment in our world is changing such that where we may have had a partner before that we could get a product from, maybe they're not on friendly footing with the U.S. or different countries. So you're going to see a lot more of that. Supply chain's still going to be choppy. The other thing you're seeing a lot more, you're going to see a lot more production moving back into the U.S.
Right.
Whereas back when I was a little kid or you were a little kid, there was little companies in every little town and every little state and every state that made something. And then over time, we shipped that manufacturing abroad. A lot of that will be coming back for a myriad of reasons. And you see it right now up and down the corridor from Albany all the way out to Buffalo. They have the microchip and the chip industry, and they're purposefully spending money and investing in those businesses, Micron and Wolfspeed and what have you, all the way up and down, because they realize we won't be able to maybe rely on our suppliers. It comes back down to supply chain. If the supply is not that you can't get it, all of a sudden you won't be able to use your cell phone.
Yeah, it's such a potentially complicated topic, and we certainly don't have time to get into all of the geopolitics of everything right now, but I think we can agree there are some really exciting things happening here in the Mohawk Valley.
Exactly.
I think we just saw an economic development report that came out that showed the economic impact of the college was something like $150 million. So
it's no surprise. When you drive, it's so interesting. When I don't know, it's a beautiful town. It's interesting. When I drive at night, when I have to come from Albany, and I live north of Utica, so if I drive the thruway and I'm going from Albany to Utica, then up home, I drive on the thruway past Herkimer at night, and you look up on the hill, and I always point to my wife. I say, see all the lights? There's the office. I don't know if my office light's on, but you see all the lights on the hill, and it's kind of this like beacon. It's really beautiful, and I just think that it's no wonder that this college, with all the people it hires and all the people that have to support all the other partners that have something to do with this school, it's no surprise at all that it has that $150 million economic impact.
Yeah, and I know that the people here running the college know that it is an important driver of the economic engine of this area. No more so than in the business programs that we've been talking about today with you, Steve.
Right.
So we're really hoping that continues to be the path forward, and that people continue to come to the college and look for answers as we continue to grow things in the Mohawk Valley.
Yeah, and I'm sure they will, and it will. I mean, I think what ends up happening is, if I'm an outsider, I haven't been in education my whole life. When I come here, I see that sometimes education, like some other big operations in our world, move a little slower than the private sector. So what ends up happening is we, as professors and as leaders in this organization, have to say what's happening in the world, whether if it's podcasts instead of TV studios. I mean, I imagine, if you went back in time 20 years, you had a TV studio here and it was vibrant, it was great, but it probably has a smaller audience than podcasting. So this is going to throw a bigger net and be kind of where we are at today, I would think. So in all of our majors, whether it be English, and I talk to English teachers and they talk about content and writing. It's so important because all these other, whether you're a podcaster, you have to write material and content. So I think we have to, as an organization, continue to morph and change to meet the modern needs, because we have the basics here, and it's all set up. We just have to tweak things a little more and just keep moving forward.
It's true. It's true. And I think the people that run the college have done a really good job
Sure.
being responsive and being nimble when the conditions have called for. But you're right. Higher education does lumber a little more slowly than, a
Well,
lot of other industries.
I think people, it's not unusual. It's human nature to resist change a little bit.
Yeah.
My wife has this poster on the wall that was written by Scott Adams from Dilbert. It says, "Change is good. You go first."
Yeah, that's right.
So I think that, sometimes I talk to, folks in education and say, well, you're still going to be, your topic of, in your criteria is all extremely important. The difference is with just our modality of how we're delivering it these days is going to change a little bit. And we just, business is going to change a little bit. Like I even look at some of our programs. We had offered, Herkimer had always offered a great tourism program.
Travel and tourism.
Yeah. It was
that was a huge program for years.
Top notch. But that industry's changed. So now we have to say, okay, maybe it's the same students that used to take that. Maybe they do esports, or maybe they go into sports management, and they kind of shift what's happening in the world out there.
It's true. It's true.
So.
You mentioned something when you were talking about the old radio and TV studio. There used to be a sign up in the studio, which was the mantra for many of us. It said, "Lead, follow, or get out of the way."
Yeah, that's true.
And we all have to do one thing or the other, right,
true.
in any
It's
situation. So, Steve, it's been great having you on the show today.
Appreciate it, Bob.
You're welcome back anytime. Thank you for coming and talking about some of the exciting stuff going on at the college.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad I got invited, and I'd be encouraged to come back another time. But if you have a topic or something you'd like to cover in the future, I would love to be a part of it.
We can get the chairs back in here, and we'll have a panel discussion. There's so much to talk about. I really do appreciate your time coming in today. I know it's a busy day for you every day at the college. And thank you for watching this episode of the Generally Speaking podcast. We'll see you again next time.